Nakakaalam ako. Good evening, everyone. And of course, good morning and good afternoon also sa mga taga-subaybay natin sa iba't ibang panig ng mundo. We in Lente sincerely hope that our listeners were able to safely and freely exercise their right to vote last May 9, and of course for our overseas voters since April 10. Even though the elections has ended last Monday, the electoral process continues. For the 28th episode of the Ang Show ng Walang Title pero hashtag sa atin ang eleksyon, we will be tackling a transparency and confidence-building measure for elections that is mandated by law, the Random Manual Audit. The topic for tonight's episode is timely and relevant considering the various issues raised regarding the recently concluded elections, and because a lot of people are still wondering what the Random Manual Audit is, or perhaps people who really don't know what the Random Manual Audit is. Maybe you have seen it on social media, watched it on TV, or heard it from radio that the Random Manual Audit for the 2022 national and local elections have started. But many of us are probably wondering what it is, why this is being done, and what is its importance to our electoral process. We will try to answer all of these questions tonight. Inaanyayahan po namin kayo na mag-send ng inyong mga katanungan sa aming mga social media accounts on Facebook, on Twitter, and maaari rin po kayong mag-text sa aming mga hotlines na naka-flash sa screen. Ako nga po pala si Alexa Yadaw, Project Officer ng Lente, and I advocate na sa atin ang eleksyon. Sa atin because I want a safe, accountable, transparent, and inclusive elections which inspire national public confidence. Muli, magandang gabi sa lahat, good evening, and happy Friday. You can watch our show every other week on Fridays from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. So follow our social media pages to keep updated on our show. Huwag na po nating papatagalin pa at ipakilala natin ang ating mga makakasama ngayong gabi. For this episode of Ang Show na Walang Title, makakasama natin ang COMELEC at ang Chairperson for the Random Manual Audit Committee for this year's elections. One of our guests for tonight graduated law from the University of Santo Tomas in the year 2000. He served as Executive Assistant to the Supreme Court Administrator Justice Benipayo from 2001 to 2002 and as Executive Assistant to the Solicitor General from 2002 to 2004. Since 2006, he has been the spokesperson and currently Director of the Education and Information Department and the Technical Working Group Director for Stakeholder Engagement at the Commission on Elections. Let us all welcome Director James Jimenez.
Hi, good evening,
Hi.
Alexa.
Hi, sir. Okay.
Good evening.
Yes. I'll introduce our second guest. Atty Helen Graido is a policy consultant on legislative reforms for the Legal Network for Truthful Elections. Currently, she is a partner at King & Graido Law, a general service firm specializing in technology, corporate labor, taxation, real estate, family, and immigration law, and the chairperson for the Random Manual Audit Committee. Let us all welcome Atty Helen Graido. Hi, Atty Helen. Hello po. Okay. Bago po natin kamustahin sina Director James at si Atty Helen at simulan ng ating show, we would just like to share that we are live on Lente Philippines Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube accounts, and to our different partners' accounts or pages on Facebook, which you can see below. And also, we would like, on behalf of Lente, I would like to express our sincerest gratitude to our official partners for the 2022 national and local elections. GMA Network, ABS-CBN News, ABS-CBN Bayan Mo Ipatrol Mo, Rappler PH Page Vote Coalition, Facebook, Twitter, Commission on Human Rights Bantay Karapatan sa Halalan, Integrated Bar of the Philippines, Election 2022 Coalition, and the Asia Foundation Youth-led Kabilang Kasa 2022 Coalition. To all our listeners and viewers, do not forget to like and share our episode tonight and use the hashtag Satin ang Eleksyon. If you have any questions, comments, or shout-outs to our special guests or our episode topic, feel free to leave it in the comments section and we'll get to them later. Okay, so gusto ko po munang kamustahin ating mga guests. Director James, I know you've been, the COMELEC has been tirelessly working for preparing for the 2022 national and local elections. Kamusta po kayo?
Okay naman. The elections are, the elections were a challenge, syempre. Pero since then, no, nung nagsimula na yung bilangan, etc., medyo tuloy-tuloy naman yung trabaho. Wala namang malaking disruptions. So, I guess we're doing fine. We're doing fine, no? And we're very excited about the random manual audit.
Audit. Okay. That's good to hear po. Attorney Helen, I know you're currently cooped up in the venue of the Random Manual Audit as the chairperson. Kamusta po kayo, Attorney Helen?
Hello, hi Alexa, hi Director James. Sir Jamal, magandang gabi po sa lahat. Yes, I'm currently in Diamond Hotel. I'm actually in the ground floor, parang one of the audit floors po. So medyo pasensya na kung medyo maingay, but para lang makita niyo din what's happening. At nandyan sa likod, meron pang mga army teams that are still doing the audit up to this time.
Okay po. Okay po. So, huwag na po nating patagalin. We'll get straight to the topic for tonight. For Director James po, for our audience who does not know Random Manual Audit, can you explain what it is and its role in the national and local elections?
Well, the random manual audit, Alexa, is really the process where we determine the accuracy of the vote counting machines. Diba? Vote counting machines are very critical, very essential to the election process kasi sila yung bumibilang ng boto. Ngayon, para malaman natin how accurate they are, ibig sabihin, kung gaano katama yung pagbilang nila ng boto natin, dito natin makikita sa random manual audit. Kaya nga napakahalaga nitong step na ito dahil ito yung pinaka magbibigay ng kumbaga mag-vouch para sa accuracy ng elections, di ba? Kasi kung mapapatunayan mong accurate yung makina, therefore it follows na reliable yung resulta ng elections.
Okay po. Sir, as a follow-up question, since it was mentioned a while ago that it is law mandated, let me just ask, parang what does this mean and when and how did the random manual audit start?
Well, when we say na it's mandated by law, ibig sabihin nakapaloob siya dun sa batas na nagbibigay ng authority sa COMELEC na magsagawa ng automated elections, no? In this particular case, we're talking about Republic Act 9369. And in that law, the random manual audit is mentioned. Ibig sabihin, ever since we started with automation as early as 2010, kasama na yung random manual audit, no? Random manual audit was part of the process from the very beginning. Of course, nagbago ang itsura ng random manual audit, no? There were differences in how it was carried out before, especially since we were basically just learning the ropes, as it were. But over the years, as we've gotten better at doing this, you've also seen some evolution in the process. But the whole thing, random manual audit, in its most basic concept, that started as early as 2010.
Okay po. And sir, I know you've mentioned what it is for, pero parang what really are the main objectives po of conducting a random manual audit? Aside from what you've said, it's a transparency measure to ascertain the accuracy of the vote counting machines?
Well, ang objective niya talaga, no, is to see if the machines are counting properly, right? If the machines, more specifically, if the machines are recognizing the marks on the ballots. Yun kasi ang pinaka-importanting parte ng elections. Magmamarka tayo sa balota, kailangan marunong magbasa yung makina nung minarka natin, di ba? Because it would be a very problematic situation if people were to fill up the ballots and then the machines pala would not be able to recognize it. So, yun ang yun isa sa mga objectives, no, to determine whether the machines recognize these marks accurately. But at the same time, you could also say that one of the ARMA's objectives is really to build up confidence in the system. If people can see that the machines are accurate, then there is a very good chance that they will trust the outcome.
Okay, Director James has already mentioned that the RMA is a confidence building measure, but we will get to them later. So Mamaya, i-discuss natin what does this mean, parang how can it build confidence. Pero mag-dive muna tayo sa process or how it is actually conducted, yung nitty-gritty. This question is for Attorney Helen. Attorney Helen, can you tell us po, like who conducts the random manual audit and how are they parang formed, yung people, the teams that conduct the random manual audit? Attorney Helen, I think you're on mute. Sorry.
Ayan, sige. Siguro importante po nating malaman yung demands po ng isang audit bago po tayo tumuloy din sa kung sino yung nagko-conduct. So, dahil ito ay isang audit, kailangan po nating panatilian na maging independent ito, maging inclusive. So, kaya po yung requirement na po na yun po yung magdedetermine sino yung dapat magpatakbo. Kaya po ang Random Manual Audit, it is run and managed by the Random Manual Audit Committee. So yung committee na po na yun, tatlo po ang bumubuo doon. So syempre nandyan po ang COMELEC, nandyan po ang Philippine Statistics Authority at ang Coalition of Civil Society Organizations. So yung civil society organizations, sila po yung magli-lead and there is parang ang LENTE po ang naging chair ng coalition na yun. So kasama po ng LENTE ang NAMFREL, isa rin pong election watchdog. Number 2, kasama rin po natin ang PICPA. So yun po ay national na association ng mga CPA bilang ito ay isang audit. Ito ang kanilang expertise. Pangatlo, kasama rin po natin ang PSPHP dahil po tayo ay nasa isa pa ring pandemya. Kinokonsulta po natin sila para sa mga safety protocols. At panghuli, nakasama po natin ang ISACA Manila. Sila po ay mga info tech experts. So yan po yung Random Manual Audit Committee. So makikita niyo po na malaki ang role ng mga civil society organizations kasi po alam natin pag sa audit, kumbaga technically ang in-audit ko ay mga makina na ang nagme-maintain at nag-program ay syempre po ang COMELEC. So syempre hindi po nila pwedeng i-audit ang kanilang mga sarili kaya po dapat may independent talaga na party to do the audit. So yeah.
Po. Attorney Helen, you've mentioned about the RMA committee and sabi mo nga it's important that this committee remains independent. Can I ask po, parang how were the members of the RMAC chosen to ensure siguro their independence?
To ensure independence, syempre po we go back to the nature and the purpose of the organizations forming the committee. And syempre, dun din magta-translate kung ano yung magiging participation nila. So, syempre po, gusto ko, again, mag-focus sa coalition. So, nandyan po ang LENTE, ang NAMFRE. So, ang LENTE, ang NAMFRE, pares po sila mga non-partisan at election watchdogs. So, dun pa lang po, ma-ensure yung independence po ng mga miyembro nito, pati po yung iba pang parte ng coalition. When we started building the partnership, we made sure na kapag they participate sa Random Manual Audit, they would have to commit to being non-partisan all throughout, at least while they are participating within the RMA.
Okay. So yeah, I hope our audience are listening. Really, the RMAC is an independent and it's formed by non-partisan organizations. Okay po, Attorney Helen, pero the RMA committee, di ba, is responsible, yung basically nag-o-orchestrate ng random manual audit. But I think our audience would be interested who really yung mga teams that are conducting the RMA. Sabi mo nga nasa likod mo kanina. Do you want to discuss it further po?
Yeah, sure. Yun po. So, number 1, ang isa pong pinakamalaking grupo na nakasama natin sa pagko-conduct ng RMA ay ang ating mga RMA team. Sila po mostly ay mga public school teachers. So, medyo na-mirror ng RMA teams ang paraan ng pagbuo katulad na rin sa electoral board. So parang sila yung halos kaparehas niyan. So sila po in coordination with DepEd, sila po ay in-appoint ng Department of Education to participate in the RMA as RMA team, as part of the RMA team. So meron diyang chairperson, secretary, at third member. So bawat isa dyan may sarili-sarili silang function. Siguro mabilis lang, yung chairperson siya yung nagbabasa mula sa balota, yung secretary siya yung nag-fill up ng form na ang tawag ay audit return, yung third member yung tally board. So as you go along the process, may sarili-sarili din silang dedicated na task kasi yung mga trabaho na to, it's built and designed to be counter-check din sa isa't isa. So katulad yung kadalawang sinabi ko na forms, when this is filled up, it is also a way for them to check na yung recording nila ay tama, kung talaga bang in sync sila sa pag-record at pagtatali ng mga botong binabasa po ng chairperson. Tapos, so Army team number 1. Number 2, nandyan naman po ang ating mga verifiers. So ating mga verifiers, sila po yung may primary oversight function doon sa ating mga Army team. Sila po ay mga certified public accountants. So we actually made an open call and recruited certified public accountants to function as verifiers. So sila po talaga yung pwede po silang, hindi naman po magpupulis, pero sila po ay kaagapay at ka-teammate po ng RMA team para po ma-ensure na habang ginagawa nilang RMA, sumusunod po sila sa proseso. At syempre, pangatlo, nandyan po ang supervisors. Ang mga supervisors naman, sila po yung tumututok sa administrative na mga trabaho sa audit floor. So yan yung mga materyales, peace and order, pati na po yung logistics po ng ating ballot boxes.
Okay po. Thank you, Atty. Helen. So, since we're talking about building confidence, ensuring na transparent yung process, independent yung mga nagko-conduct ng audit, I would like to ask a question po to Director James. Really, this is about building confidence talaga ng citizens. How can we be assured? How can the citizens be assured po that the ballots are genuinely randomly chosen?
Okay. Kasi ganito, no, ang process na sinunod natin ay nag-randomize tayo kung aling mga presinto ang pagkukuhanan natin ng balota. Now, it's very important that yung randomizer na yan ay ginawa ng Philippine Statistics Authority. I think Attorney Helen will correct me if I'm wrong, no? But it's the PSA that actually designed that randomizer process, no? And yung randomizer na yan, katumbas yan ng ginagawa natin dating tambiolo. Alam mo, Alexa, in the early days, mga around 2010, 2013, we actually had a small tambiolo, a turning thing, right? And it was full of ping pong balls. And we had to pick out the numbers. So, yung digital version nun, yun ang ginagamit natin ngayon. And yung randomizer program na yan, I believe that's open for the public to scrutinize kung gusto nila. Hindi ako nagkakamali, open source pa nga yan eh. So I think that the committee has actually gone the extra mile in ensuring that every step of the process is actually accountable to the people.
Okay po. Okay, sir. So ayan, to our listeners, we've listened to the answers of Attorney Helen and Director James that the RMAP are composed of experts. And of course, our processes also were built and formed by experts. Okay, balik po ako kay Attorney Helen. Attorney Helen, can you guide us po? Can you guide the audience through the audit process of the RMA?
Sige. I will try my best na mas maintindihan po ng lahat. So, siguro po isipin po natin ang Random Manual Audit. Isa po itong check-up sa ginagawa sa ballot box at sa mga balota na nasa loob ng ballot box na to. So check up, so number 1, nag-uumpisa po ang pagkakonduct ng audit dun pa lang sa itsura or kondisyon ng ballot box. So talagang tinitingnan yan kung meron po bang basag, nabutas po ba, nabasa or nasunog. Kasama po yan sa ini-inventory kung anong kondisyon ng ballot box nang dumating ito dito sa ating centralized venue. Kasunod niyan, pagkatapos buksan, actually even before buksan, yung mga security seals po na ginamit to lock up the ballot box, nino-note yan kasi may serial number. So tinitingnan kung yung serial number ng seals or ng lock na ginamit is the same serial number na nakalagay dun sa minutes natin na nasa loob ng ballot box. So pagkabukas naman ng ballot box, tinitingnan yung mga laman ng ballot box na yan. Kasi po meron po tayong required na mga dokumento na dapat nasa loob ng ballot box na dapat sinecure po yan ng electoral board na nag-handle po nung ballot box na yun. So pagkatapos niyan, ayan na, hawakan na natin ang mga balota. Again, it's a reminder for all, ito po ay still, syempre ito ay election paraphernalia, so dapat ingatan. Kaya po meron tayong house rule na bawal po magdala na kahit anong pagkain or tubig, kahit mineral water bottle pa yan. Kasi kung mabuhusan po yan, ako po, malaki po yung, malaki po yung hirap sa operations kasi po bawal pong masira or mabasa ang mga election paraphernalia. So pag nahawakan na po ang balota, isosort po yan. Yung sorting na yon, it's one way of helping or assisting the RMATs to be more organized kasi organization is key in audit. Kumbaga, you have to know how to trace each and every record that you were able to tally or you made. Kasi pag nag-record ka na, for example, pagkatas yung mag-sort, diba? So pagkatas mag-sort, dyan na po kukunin na po ng chairperson yung bawat isang file. So yung sa sorting na yan, meron din tayong pamamaraan. So nandyan sinasort yung mga balota ayon sa ambiguous, undervote, overvote, at fully shaded ballot. So, yung ambiguous, ibig sabihin nun, basically, malabo siya. Kailangan pang pag-isipan kasi nandyan yung sinasabi kanina ni Director James na instructions or commands dun sa machine, yung 25% threshold. So, malabo yung mga balota na in a way na kailangan ko pang pag-isipan kung pasok ba siya sa 25% na threshold. So, talagang pinipick out yan or kinaklasify kasi alam natin na yung mga balotang to would take more time and it is a possible source of variance or possible points for reconsideration. Tapos nandyan yung undervote, overvote, ano rin po yan, kasama rin po yan sa mga instructions na inilagay sa makina. Kasi po ang VCM, kunyari po sa senador, kung ang allowed lang po na iboto sa senador ay 12 na kandidato. So kung kayo po ay bumoto ng less than 12, so let's say 5 lang, the machine will actually recognize that you voted for only 5 candidates and it will already mark that the 7 slots, you did not cast any vote for those 7 slots. At the same time, on the flip side naman, yung overvote, nire-recognize din ng makina na kunyari, 12 lang ang allowed, you voted for 25, so it will already mark na, okay, sumobra ka sa 12, ang instruction dyan, wala pong mababasang boto for that position if you actually did overvote. Kasi po ang makina, wala po siyang capacity to read the voter intent as to priority or preference. So para sa kanya, pare-parehas lang yan na shading. So, ayan, sinusort natin yung balota sa ganyang sistema. So pagkatapos mag-sort, magbabasa na po ang chairperson ng mga balota. Habang nagbabasa siya, nakatutok naman ng secretary sa audit return, ang third member sa tally board, sila po naman ay mag-uumpisa na magtally. So, siguro, pag tiningnan niyo po yung mga forms, nakaklasify din po yung mga record na ginagawa. Meron po tayo dyang incomplete shades counted, incomplete shades not counted. We actually even take note of misplaced shades. Yung mga misplaced shades po, yan po yung markings na siguro parang masabi natin na parang pinaglaruan yung balot. Kasi marking yan na hindi nagtatouch sa oval. So the intent to vote is actually not there kasi the instruction when you vote is to actually fill up the oval. So pero nidonote pa rin natin yung misplaced shade kasi tinitingnan natin yan as a point for reform. Kasi kung ini-instruct natin ng botante na dapat fully shaded pero ginagawa pa rin nila ang misplaced shade, ibig sabihin kailangan pa nating paigtingin actually ang voter ed. So yan, magre-record sila. Pagkatapos mag-record, meron tayong sinasabi na ER, yan ang election return. Ang election return, ang resibo ng lahat ng boto that were casted through that VCM. So since in-audit natin ng makina, yan ang record ng makina. Ikino-compare natin ang record ng makina sa record na resulta ng pagbabasa, ng manual na pagbabasa ng ating RMAT. So yan ang gagamit ng kanilang mata at ang kanilang sariling discretion, personal discretion in interpreting the markings. So pagkatapos po i-compare, maaari pong magkaroon ng variance. Ito po, tuwing magte-training po tayo, pagdating sa variance, very ano po talaga, mararamdaman nyo na tumatahimik lahat ng trainees kasi it's really a very critical point in the audit. Kasi ang audit, isang parang what how do you say, para siyang mortal sin is to actually to mag-force reconciliation or force recording. So hindi parati nating pinapaalala sa ating mga RMAs na hindi nyo dapat kinokopya lang kung ano yung sinabi ng makina. Kasi po, kaya kayo training to actually be able to be empowered and to interpret the markings. Kaya po, kung magdedesisyon sila kung counted ba or hindi, they should always rely on their own interpretation. Kaya, yun, pagdating sa variance, pag magkaroon ng pagkakaiba dyan sa record ng RMA at sa record ng AES, meron po tayong mga triggers. So, meron tayong 10 or less, na kapag 10 or less, pwede po mag-proceed sa closing procedure. Pero pag more than 10, meron po tayong parang second level verification. So, tinitingnan or tinutulungan ng verifier na balikan yung mga records kasi baka may human error or mathematical error lang, kaya nagkakaroon ng pagkakaiba sa AES result at RME result. So pag na-resolve na nila yan, well, resolve is never forced reconciliation. Resolving is actually taking note of the variance and why there is a variance or why there are variances. So may mga reasons yan. Sorry, ang haba na explanation, pero parang pag tumingin po kayo ng financial statements, if you are familiar, di ba po may notes? Kaya po may notes kasi yun yung nagpapaliwanag bakit may kulang, bakit may sobra. Same thing with RMA. There are remarks or minutes that are provided in the record. So just so we know how was the variance resolved or bakit nagkaroon ng variance na ni-record ng ating RMA. So there. And then closing na. Closing, strict din kasi you also have to take note what was put back inside the ballot box. Kasi po, yung mga balotang ito, still, parang pinoprotektahan natin yung chain of custody dyan. So, hindi din po pwede na kung ano po yung mga nakita nyo sa loob, dapat po kompleto rin silang maibalik pag sinarado niya na. So, yung mga seals din, tinitake note ulit yan, yung mga bagong selyo, tinitake note yung serial numbers niyan. So, yun. Tapos, binabalik ulit yan sa storage and, of course, COMELEC would have its internal security to make sure na yung integrity po ng ballot boxes pagka mula sa centralized venue pabalik kung saan to nang gagaling. So, iba't ibang probinsya po yan sa Pilipinas. Dapat maintain po ang integrity ng ballot box. So, yun.
Okay, medyo mahaba-haba.
Parang litanya.
Pero to our audience, meron talagang process and it goes through stages. So may retrieval of ballots, and we ensure that the RMA team or the RMAC ensures that the retrieval of the ballots or the election paraphernalia are really protected and are safe. And then we do the sorting, and then we do the actual audit, and then of course yung pagbabalik ng mga ballots sa storage boxes nila. So, yun na. Pero Attorney Helen, parang siguro ang tanong ng mga tao ngayon really is parang paano kapag may discrepancy or sabi mo nga yung variance. Na-mention mo na kanina na meron kayong threshold or triggers. Would you mind parang what if? Yun lang naman. Yun yung tanong ng tao. Paano kapag may discrepancy?
Okay, siguro yung discrepancy hindi natin siya tinitingnan as mali or mali yung recording ng RMA or mali yung ginawa ng makina. It's really just reporting how the reading was, ano yung resulta ng reading or interpretation ng RMA team. So kung may discrepancy, as long as we make sure na wala ng mathematical error dyan, na-add natin ng maayos yung mga record, lahat ng balota na account natin, kung talagang nakakaiba na lang sa interpretation, kung magre-resulta man ito sa isang discrepancy, or I think more accurate really is the term variance. We report it as it is. That's how audit is. Parang kung ano yung nakita mo, given all the parameters na sinabi during training, and kung ito talaga yung resulta, then we report it. I think that's our commitments our commitment since nag-start tayo na mag-prepare for RME kasi you stay true to the discipline of audit. Actually, ang dami ko natututunan sa mga verifiers natin na parang, yes, that's how you look at it. Talagang hindi mo siya hahabulin, hindi mo siya parang pupuksain. It's not how it is. You just report it as it is. Parang as long as sure ka na sinundan mo yung methodology or yung mga paraan ng pag-audit.
Okay, so let me go back since we're really about assuring talaga citizens. Let me go back po to Director James. Director James, on the part of COMELEC po, how can the Filipinos be assured nga that the Random Manual Audit adheres to transparency and truthfulness? I know that we have CSOs who are heading the audit, independent, but really, how can the COMELEC really encourage the Filipinos to trust in the process?
Well, napakahalaga ng sinabi ni Atty Helen kanina. Sino ba yung nagsagawa ng eleksyon? At sino ang nag-audit? I think yun ang pinakamalaking confidence building measure dito. The fact that it's not the COMELEC doing the audit by itself, right? Na hindi COMELEC ang namumuno dito sa Random Manual Audit. Kayo, lente nga actually. No? And I think the message there is clear. Kami, ginawa na namin yung trabaho namin. Now you check it. Kayo mag-check. Hindi kami makikialam. Sabihin nyo sa amin kung anong nakita nyo. The willingness to do that. In fact, the willingness to support this sort of checking exercise, I think that speaks volumes. Yan talaga yung nagsasabi na, walang tinatago ang COMELEC.
Okay po. So, eto din po, Director James, do you think the RMA can appease the Filipinos in their distrust of the use of electronic machines? I know there's still Filipinos who say na parang, balik na tayo sa manual kasi the accurate automated election system. Pero do you think the RMA can appease, or how do you think can the Random Manual Audit appease this distrust?
Sa tingin ko magkakaroon ng segment ng population na talagang mapapakalma, no? Ma-appease in your words. But remember, when people say they don't trust something, it's usually for more than just one reason. So maraming dahilan usually yan. No, but I think there will be some people na pag nakita nila yung ARMA, sabi nila, okay naman pala. Yes, they will be mollified. But there will be some people who will need a few, more things. And para dun sa mga taong yon, nakikita namin na yung ARMA is still an essential element to building trust, di ba? Kasi kung marami na nga siyang pinagdududahan, tapos ito pa hindi niya mapagkatiwalaan, mas lalo siyang mapapalayo from accepting the whole automation idea. Kaya nga mahalaga na ito ginagawa natin para dun sa mga maniniwala kaagad, yung tatanggapin ito, at para dun sa mga kailangan pa ng additional na reassurance. Definitely, malaking tulong ang ARMA even in that respect.
Okay po. Since we're talking about really the trust to the RMA itself and to the yung trust din sa results, can I ask Attorney Helen po, ano po ba yung percentage ng results? How accurate has the automated election system has been in the past based entirely on the Random Manual Audit conducted in the past?
Actually, nung 2019, Lente rin po ang naging kapartner ng COMELEC in conducting the Random Manual Audit. And ang accuracy rate ng 2019, if I'm not mistaken, it's 99.996%. So talagang parang safeguard. Isang tuldok na lang yung hindi pa nag-sign off, but yun ang accuracy rate ng 2019.
99.999. Okay. 996. Okay, so to our listeners, there you have it, the accuracy rate of the RMA, and of course the myriad of processes involved in conducting the audit. Okay po. I think I will go to the next question. Pero the RMA, I think, was decentralized before. It wasn't conducted in one venue like how it is conducted now. To Director James po, sir, do you think that the centralization of the venue can contribute to the citizens' confidence in the process of RMA?
Syempre, malaking bagay ang centralization. Bakit? Kung decentralized yan, isipin mo na lang, 106,000 precincts na yun. Can you imagine if you had to conduct it in 757 separate precincts? Paano mo mababantayan yung proseso? Di ba? You think of it in terms of scale. The fact na nandito lahat yan, malaking confidence mo kasi kita mo lahat all in one place. Pangalawa, pag sinentralize mo, mas standardize mo yung proseso. Pag nagaganap itong proseso na to in 757 locations simultaneously, wala kang guarantee na yung quality ng trabaho sa isang lugar ay mamamatch ng quality sa ibang lugar. And kung hindi pare-pareho ang standard ng performance, ay huwag na natin gawin. Di ba? Kasi talagang malulusutan ka eh. Kaya napakaganda na centralized. Again, number one, madaling bantayan kasi nasa isang lugar lang. Pangalawa, standardized ang procedure kasi nga, isang grupo lang gumagawa. At pangatlo, mas efficient. Mas efficient. Kapag kalat-kalat yung proseso mo, hindi mo makokontrol kung gaano ka-efficient yung trabaho. Magkakaroon ka ngayon ng laggards. Magkakaroon ka ng mga taong nalilate sa resulta. At pag na-late ang resulta, maniwala ka, babagsak ang kredibilidad ng buong proseso. Kaya for these three reasons, napakagandang centralized na yung ating RMA.
Sir, just a follow-up question para lang ma-paint natin yung picture for our audience. When we say na decentralized before, what does this mean? How did it look like on the ground?
Ibig sabihin, kung saan yung ballot box, doon ka gagawa ng RMA. Imagine, so kunwari, again, like I said, pumili tayo ng 757 ballot boxes. That means, kung decentralized tayo, 757 teams ang kikilos in 757 locations all at the same time. Right? Roughly at the same time. So, magsisimula, number one, hindi sila magsisimula sabay-sabay, obviously. Kasi hindi sabay-sabay yung end ng voting. Pangalawa, yung conditions in each of those locations will be different. Baka dito hindi pa nabubuo yung team, baka doon buo na, baka dito umuwi mo na yung isang member. So, malabo, right? Kasi hindi mo magagarantiya na sabay-sabay sila magtatrabaho at sabay-sabay matatapos. Again, so many problems, especially having to do with the standardization of the process, na nawala dahil nag-centralize.
Okay po. Let me just ask this question to Atty Helen, really, as part of Lentec, who has been heading RMA. Do you think the centralization of the process or standardization of the process can contribute to citizens' confidence in the process?
Definitely, oo. Kasi yung centralization, dati kasi nung bago tayo mag-participate sa RME, tinatanong din namin yan na, so paano anong itsura ng RME dati? So niya, localized. Okay, so gano'n siya tumatagal? Parang dati, ang RME daw, pag localized siya, tumatagal lang maximum 4 hours. So parang, okay, mabilis. Pero nung nag-participate na tayo sa RME, minsan as long, parang sintagal ng 2 to 3 days talaga. So parang dun pala makikita mo yung quality ng tutok sa proseso. Kasi hindi naman sinasabi natin kailangan maging matagal kasi Director James mentioned about efficiency. But doon natin makikita yung quality ng supervision, quality ng tutok dun sa process. Kasi kapag alam ng nag-audit na meron pong nag-oversight at merong tumututok sa kanya sa ginagawa niya, the auditors are really conditioned to be very careful and talagang faithful to the process, and that would take time. So makikita talaga natin from the data pa lang na kung dati 2 to 3 hours lang ang isang balota. Ngayon 2 to 3 days na. So doon pala makita na talagang masinsin at talagang tutok yung mga nagko-conduct ng RMA.
Just a curious question po, attorney. How long does the entire RMA process happen? Ilang
Okay.
days? A month?
I think right now we're targeting 42 days. May 3 days na buffer para maging 45. Pero kasi talagang noong 2019 kasi nag-last siya for 22 days. Pero ngayon talagang project na medyo tatagal siya dahil nag-increase po yung number of positions that will be audited. So meron na po tayong president, vice president, senator, House of Representatives, mayor, and party list. So party list pa lang, medyo buong likod na yun ng balota. So parang 200, almost 200 candidates yan.
Okay. Okay. I'll go to the next question po ulit. Again, this is for Director James po. Will the work of RMA be affected by reports of VCM malfunctions last May 9? What do you think po, Director James?
Sa tingin ko magiging mas crucial yung trabaho ng RMA. Pero in terms of maapektuhan ba yung operations, hindi naman. I don't see that happening. Kasi ang RMA naman nangyayari after the voting has happened. So to the extent na madidili, kunyari, ang napili nating randomly selected area ay yung nagka-problema with the machine. Ang pinaka-impact niyan kaagad is to delay the start of the RMA, obviously. Kasi hindi mo makukuha kaagad siguro yung ballot box especially kunyari, late na tapos, no? But once the box is with RMA, wala nang impact yan to operations. Tuloy-tuloy na yan, no? Ang magiging impact na ngayon yan is doon sa kahalagahan ng box na yon, di ba? Kasi, again, of course, every box is important, no? But kapag may issues na attendant dun sa box, yun, kailangan niyang i-overcome kaagad. So, kumbaga, that particular place is at a disadvantage at the start. Kasi, for many people, they will already have some sort of built-in distrust for that particular box. And again, sabi naman ni Atty Helen, the purpose of RMA is not to vindicate any particular result, no? But to reveal what is there. So yung conclusions that will follow later. But it becomes more critical na maging truthful and reliable yung audit for that particular box.
Attorney Helen, do you want to add po to what Director James has said?
Siguro, din, yung RME kasi talagang since we've always been saying for the past few minutes na it's a confidence building measure. So dun pa lang parang it's a confidence building measure that is intricately designed to actually answer to that demand. Kasi bakit kailangan ng confidence building? Kasi nga merong agam-agam. Pero paano mo i-dispel yung agam-agam na yun? It has to be carefully designed para yung mga small details na yan, kapag nag-build up, like kunyari, yung accuracy rate, it might be the most prominent figure in the report of the RMA, but I actually personally would want to invite everyone that it's not the end-all be-all of RMA. Parang there's so much data that you can get from from the conduct of the RMA, just from the misplaced shades, from the inventory, from the recording and how the votes are being classified. Parang ano siya I could say it's a scientific process of actually check up talaga siya ng makina and yung makina na yan yung nagbabasa ng boto or yung will ng tao that would elect the future leaders of the nation. So parang kumbaga parang, if put it simply, parang sa grocery ka, gusto mong tingnan kung tama ba yung basa ng QR code reader dyan or nung scanner, nung barel. Kasi mamaya, yung saging na binili mo, ang pagkakita mo 20 pesos, pagka barel naging 200. So, diba, parang you actually look at the equipment. If it's following the instructions that were loaded into it by the election management body, which is COMELEC. So, nakamute ka ata, Alexa.
Okay, sorry. we're down to the last few questions po. Pero actually yung whole point nga ng episode na to is to make our listeners understand yung full transparency measures being conducted and also to build confidence in the process in the elections. Pero what are your expectations po for the audit? To Director James siguro muna. What are your expectations? Na-mention po kanina ni Atty Helen yung accuracy rate of the previous RMA. What are your expectations po for the RMA this year given yung siguro parang distrust nga, parang prominent distrust, hindi naman prominent, pero evident distrust po
Yes.
observed among Filipinos.
Well, obviously very very important, no, yung accuracy rating. Expect natin, makikita natin kung ano yung accuracy rating, and siguro yun yung that's what will do the heavy lifting in terms of addressing the fears of the people, na yung accuracy rating. Pero more than that, I agree with Attorney Helen. Napakaraming datos na makukuha dito sa ano na to, no, sa exercise na ito. And isang sinabi niya kanina that I agree totally, yung implikasyon nito sa voter education. Isa sa mga talagang burden ng voter education is to teach voters how to use the ballots correctly or properly. At dito natin makikita gaano kalaki ba yung impact ng sinasabi natin. How effective are we actually in teaching people how to use the ballot? No? But more than that, this will also go into system design. No? Kasi pag nakita mo na may problema yung gamit ng ballot, baka pwede kang may sa balota. Di ba? Baka may pwede kang i-disenyo sa balota na magiging mas efficient at magiging mas safe ang ating halalan. So, ito sa tingin ko ang RMA is just the first step. Sa tingin ko, ang mahalaga ding dagdag sa trabaho dito ay yung analysis ng results ng audit at kung paano tayo uusad from that point.
Okay po. Attorney Helen, as a chairperson siguro of the RMAC, what are your expectations for the results of the audit for this year?
Siguro for the results of the audit, I would want to hope that it would achieve or be publicly accepted, and the public would be confident about it, given the preparations that went into it, the willingness or the opportunity for everyone to actually participate in the process. Katulad kanina, sinasabi natin, we were trying to enumerate everyone who will be conducting the audit, sino yung nasa audit floor. Actually, right now, habang we're in the middle of it, nisip ko that there's actually a fourth group of participants dito sa audit. Yan po ay ating mga observers and watchers. So yan po, we openly invite them to be here to witness, although minsan it would be very intricate, so parang complicated, pero kaya po iniimbitahan po namin kayo na i-witness ito. Kasi tingnan niyo po kung paano ginagawang RME. Kasi the results, we're actually already building it as early as now. Actually, as early as a year ago, because all the preparations, all the conduct from the start to finish, it will result or lead to acceptance and public confidence of the result itself. So, yung accuracy rate na yan, kahit mataas yan, kahit sobrang halos perfect na, pero kung walang tiwala ang tao kung paano yan narating, it might be useless. It might be, it won't affect policy reform. It won't affect system design, sabi nga ni Sir James. So, simula ngayon pa lang, ang expectation ko ay sana, and hope ko actually, sana mas marami pang taong mag-participate as witnesses, as observers sa proseso para unti-unti nating i-build yung confidence into the confidence building measure that is RME.
I would like to reiterate po yung sinabi ni Attorney Helen that it is open to the public, to observers and watchers, the RMA process. Attorney Helen, can you give us parang the requirement siguro?
Sige. Opo. So, ngayon po, dahil po tayo nasa safety bubble, tayo dun sa Diamond Hotel, meron po tayong mga additional lang na safety protocols. But we would want to make it, still want to make the observer opportunity to observe to be more accessible to everyone. Kaya po, kahit po nire-require namin ng antigen testing, it will be available for free for everyone. May schedule nga lang po. It will be in the morning, 7 a.m. to 12 noon. So punta lang po kayo dito sa Diamond Hotel, magpapa-antigen test. Kapag negative po at kayo po ay nakasuot ng proper na protective equipment, pero pwede na po kayong pumasok dito and actually roam around and learn more about the RMA. Kung kayo po naman ay wala po sa NCR at medyo malayo po kayo, the Department of Sir James actually installed streaming equipment, kaya you can actually access the live stream through the COMELEC YouTube channel and the Facebook page of COMELEC. So yun, meron din po tayong viewing room sa lobby ng Diamond. Kung ayaw nyo talaga magpa-antigen test, medyo may trauma kayo sa sa pagdudot ng ilong, you can actually view what's happening inside comfortably. Yung live stream po natin, pwede nyo pong panoorin doon sa lobby ng Diamond Hotel.
Okay. So, ayan po, everyone, observers, watchers invited. Meron na tayong health and safety protocols in place, but it's available for free. Antigen tests for free. And also, COMELEC has made the RMA process accessible to people who are not not near the venue. So, pwede po nating mapanood ang RMA in COMELEC's YouTube page. Okay. So we're down to the last question. Thank you very much again to Director James and Attorney Helen sa sobrang daming tanong ko. And also to our listeners who are still here. So Director James po, what can you say siguro your message to our listeners, to all Filipinos who still distrust the concluded elections? I know we've been talking about confidence building and transparency, pero I guess a plea to our listeners.
Well, if I'm going to plea anything, I would ask people to keep an open mind, no? Marami sa kababayan natin ang willing naman na makinig sa paliwanag at willing naman na makakita ng ebidensya na nagpapatunay na talagang mapagkakatiwalaan yung halalan. And yan talaga ang pinakamahalaga. Huwag lang pagdesisyonan kaagad-agad at lalong huwag magdedesisyon base sa naririnig lamang sa fake news, no? Kasi ngayon yan talaga ang kalaban natin, yung misinformation at yung gumagawa ng yung nagkakalat niyan at yung mga nagdedesisyon base sa kulang na impormasyon. Ang Random Manual Audit po at its very core, no, yung pinakabuod ng Random Manual Audit is about giving the people more information about the elections na katatapos lamang. Information na pwede niyong gamitin para magdesisyon kayo for yourself kung maniniwala ba kayo o hindi. Napakahalaga po yan para sa ating demokrasya.
Okay. Thank you po, Director James. Attorney Helen, as the chairperson of the RMA, I know the responsibility is really huge on you. Your last message po siguro to our listeners, to Filipinos.
Okay. Siguro I would want to start with giving thanks to the participants and yung mga kasama namin, kaagapay namin dito in preparing for the RMA and in conducting the RMA. So sa mga ating public school teachers, sa ating mga verifiers, supervisors, and even colleagues both from COMELEC and the Philippine Statistics Authority, maraming salamat po. It was a very long and rigorous and winding road arriving here, but ayun, paumpisa pa lang po tayo and parating pa lang po tayo sa exciting na part na nag-try to be. But yeah, maraming salamat po sa lahat ng pagod nyo, dedication. I know it takes a lot to be away from your families, from your own homes, but you're still here, very much dedicated and so much energy pag tuwing umaga when yung good morning lang, sobrang nakakatuwa. So talagang maraming salamat. And siguro touching on the issue of distrust, ngayon na nandito tayo sa RMA, conducting the RMA, iniisip ko, let that distrust be a trigger for your desire to actually, and the energy to start intensive preparations kasi parati kong sinasabi ang RMA in-audit niya yung mga makina na ginamit previous elections pero actually kung ano man yung resulta nito is already preparing for the next elections, so that one is in 2025. So let that distrust, alam ko po mahirap po yan i-dispel right away, hindi yan mangyayari overnight, but let it be a trigger for us to have that energy to start preparing for the next one. So, ayun. So, hopefully, sabay-sabay tayo and magtulong-tulungan kasi if talagang naniniwala tayo na elections is the way to preserve and let democracy parang prosper, then sama-sama tayo dito. Komplikado man, nandito tayo para mag-aral, para mag-prepare, at para maging handa ulit sa another opportunity to elect our future leaders. So, yeah.
Okay. Wow. Thank you po for your messages, Director James and Attorney Helen. Again, sabi nga ni Attorney Helen and Director James, sama-sama tayo really in building confidence on the automated election system and to the elections as a whole. So we are inviting everyone to please check COMELEC's Facebook and YouTube accounts to see more updates on the Random Manual Audit. They are currently in Diamond Hotel, hard at work for the Random Manual Audit. So you can visit them anytime or virtually through social media. Okay, we would like also to invite everyone to watch out for more episodes of ang show na walang title per hashtag sa atin ang eleksyon. We are gearing up for season 3 of the show. Actually, since patapos na yung elections natin. So please watch out for more episodes. Ang show na walang title is also available on Spotify. So if you want to listen to it again or if you want to share to your friends or family members who were not able to watch tonight's episode, it is available on Spotify as well as our previous episodes. Lente also has its radio show for persons with disabilities entitled Dapat Pwede at DZAS FEBC Radio TV. And please watch out. Please watch out for our episodes. Also, I would like to invite everyone to please like our Facebook page, Lente Philippines, our Twitter, Lente and TikTok accounts, Lente PH, our Instagram accounts also, Lente PH, and our website, lente.org.ph. Yun lamang po para sa gabing ito. Maraming salamat sa pakikinig.